we are seeing some green. Time to enjoy some pleasant scenery, which is exactly what the passengers aboard Gordon's Express were doing. Gordon, who's been taking the Express since forever, is always happy to do his job. But there's another engine who is relatively his equal on this.
Henry hauled trucks in the forest. He loved the peace and quiet, but he didn't see many people. Sometimes working in the forest could be very lonely.
That shouldn't be a huge deal for him. After all, the last time viewers saw Henry's Forest was back in Season 3, that glorious self-titled episode. Looking at it now, the forest not only looks filled out, but also much more luscious. Gordon, on the other hand, could care less, like he usually does.
Passengers and freight do not mix, huffed Gordon, and he wheeshed away. Henry watched the express leave the station. I'd like to pull passengers, sighed Henry, just for a change.
Okay. I hope he's saying this because he's interested in pulling a passenger train again, not because he never has. If that is the case, it's downright false. Once Henry came back from crew, he was pulling passenger trains as easily as Gordon, and has been doing so since then. I guess Henry has been doing more forest-related activities at the moment, until he came across something new.
What are those children doing? Henry asked Thomas. That's the old sodor wishing tree, said Thomas. They must be making a wish. A wishing tree, gasped Henry. How wonderful!
Wait, this story is beginning to unwind itself a little. How is that Henry didn't know this tree existed? Isn't he like the aficionado of this particular area? How is it that Thomas knows about this mystical plant before him? Either way, after Thomas left, Henry made a wish to pull passenger trains. Okay, nothing like asking a little couldn't hurt.
That evening, the Fat Controller came to see Henry. Tomorrow you will pull the express, he said. Thank you, sir, said Henry happily. His wish had come true.
What a coinky-dink! To Henry, that tree seems pretty legit now. But kind of like Thomas from Thomas's Train of Season 1, when the passengers boarded his coaches, Henry started too quickly and bounced his train. Easy, boy, oh easy. Apparently he didn't know this, which again I find hard to believe. But of course, Henry kept believing in that wishing tree of his.
Henry puffed proudly through the countryside. Pulling passengers is a grand job, he said. Gordon was in the repair yard. He was being fitted with a new boiler. But Gordon felt lonely.
I could imagine. If he's so into himself, his coaches, his passengers, and his job, it's understandable then. And yet Henry wasn't aware of this. So again, he thought the wishing tree was everything that he needed. Meanwhile, the passengers on Henry's train were flying around like popcorn, and Top Hat got word about it. I can only think of what he'll say next.
Passengers are not like logs. You must be gentle. Yes, sir, said Henry sadly. Being gentle was very difficult. Then Henry saw Gordon. He was looking miserable.
And it was there that Henry believed that the wishing tree pulled a whole switcheroo on him and Gordon. This in turn made Henry feel very depressed. He became less and less invested in the job he was doing, even though this wasn't his first time. Again. He couldn't even seem to handle a dining car. What has become of you, Henry, old boy?
He tried his best to be gentle, but he shunted the buffet car so hard everything flew into the air. There were more complaints than ever. Henry didn't want to pull passengers anymore.
Finally, Henry had enough. He made his way to the forest and decided to reverse his initial wish. Let's hope this magical tree isn't one of those picky ones where you only get one wish, or you can't reverse it. No, Henry had even bigger problems. He couldn't even remember what tree he wished on. Really, Henry? Really?
So he decided to wish on all the trees. I wish I could pull freight again, he puffed. Then he moved to the next tree, and he wished again. I wish I could pull freight again.
Oy, this looks stupid. I'm sorry, but if Henry plans on repeating his wish for every tree in this forest, he'll never return home. This is just sad. Good thing nobody's around to see this, otherwise Henry is going to look mighty silly. Oh wait, Top Hat found him. So much for that. Good luck getting yourself out of this one, Henry.
Henry told him all about the wishing tree. "Wishing trees don't run railways," said the Fat Controller. "That's my job. Gordon just needed some repairs. He'll be back tomorrow." Henry was delighted.
Well, that's good. Because at the rate Henry was moving, his passengers could have gotten to their next destination faster by walking. I bet Top Hat was thinking, what on earth is Henry doing? Wishing trees? Who made up this whole bull crap? If I were Henry, I would have blamed Thomas for it. But it's apparent Top Hat doesn't even know the Sodor wishing tree exists. But Henry wasn't done with his wishing tree just yet.
At the end of the day, he stopped near the wishing tree. And even though the Fat Controller had told him trees don't run railways, Henry wished he would never have to pull passengers ever again. Just in case.
Why? Okay, this episode started off good, but makes an about face by the end of this entry. It's not a terrible episode, but it's definitely a story that doesn't do anything for Henry. At first, this episode looked like it was going to dive back into Henry's love for the forest. Instead, the narrative backhands the original with an attraction Henry wasn't even aware of. Yet he is the one who best knows this particular location. How can that be? Then, Henry has the want to pull passenger trains. Okay, that's not bad if he's been pulling freight for a while. But to then make it look like Henry could never pull passenger trains is rather tarnishing to his reputation. But to then have Top Hat catching Henry in the act of begging to the plants to change his life looks not only lame, but desperate. Finally, having Henry make a wish at the end and never pull passenger trains again is just dumbfounding. There's no doubt that there will be an episode in the future where Henry will be pulling a passenger train, so this is a load of malarkey. When looking at Henry's Forest of Season 3, it doesn't hold up as a good continuation. I know I just bashed the heck out of this story, but it still isn't the worst. The fact that Henry wanted to help Gordon after seeing him at the works was appreciated, because that shows he still cares for his friends and not just himself. Seeing Henry's new face masks was interesting to look at too, although the new smile has a strange eyebrow configuration. It's like he's showing he's happy, but with also some kind of weird intent. Also, the way Angelis voiced the engines was fine. Henry and Gordon's voices matched their personalities. In this feature, the musical themes that were played was Henry and Gordon's for equal portions. Of course, when Henry was sad, the theme was slower, and faster when he was happy. The locations were also nice, with Tidmouth Sheds in the pretty sunset, Knapford Station, and especially Henry's Forest, which now truly looks like a deep, thickly grown forest. And the wishing tree? I don't know. It's not that special. It's the whole reason this story was kind of stupid. Next episode is James Gets a New Coat. Thanks for watching.